So yesterday, just a little comment came out from Buck Showalter, definitely not from Sandy Alderson, definitely not from Billy Epler. Came out from their new spokesman, Buck Showalter. Everyone's so excited that he's the manager of the Mets. They've got a winner. They've got someone who's serious, who knows baseball. He's been around. He's a lifer. He's going to bring renewed optimism. He's going to bring a level of knowledge to the Mets. He's going to be the one who brings Steve Cohen the World Series that he promised you in the next 2 to 4 years. Buck Showalter, everyone's been excited. They've been piggybacking. They had deGrom throw 3 innings, then Scherzer throw 6 innings. They signed Scherzer. They're paying him more than the payroll of the Pirates and the Orioles and the Guardians. Scherzer comes in as this sort of person with his World Series title in 2019, as someone who's supposed to lead the Mets with deGrom to form the greatest 1-2 punch ever. And that, who's going to want to play them in a short series? Nobody. Who's going to want to play them in a long series? Nobody. But you got to get to the playoffs. The Mets still have Pete Alonso. Got great bats. Robinson Cano's back. Buck Showalter says yesterday, Jacob deGrom came in today with a sore shoulder. Uh-oh. That was all he said. He's supposed to start. He has his next spring training start, I think, is tomorrow. He's going to go get an MRI today. And people in Metsville are panicked, as they should be. Jacob deGrom is one of the best pitchers who I've seen. But is he very different than Josh Johnson, the great Marlins pitcher whose career was derailed by injuries? Now, people are going to say, you're delusional, David. Jacob deGrom has a Cy Young Award. Jacob deGrom is the single ace in all of baseball. True, Josh Johnson doesn't have a Cy Young Award. Josh Johnson had one of the heaviest fastballs, greatest sinkers. If you haven't watched him pitch, you're missing something. This big, strong guy. One of the hardest things in baseball is to be a pitcher who pitches for 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, to start 30 games a year. It's why the success and the health of Justin Verlander is just inspiring. Yes, he ended up with Tommy John, but Justin Verlander is, a horse, is what they call it. So deGrom has his 2 Cy Young Awards, but he's not a Hall of Famer. He hasn't won anything, and he doesn't have enough career bulk because he's always hurt. Whether it's his shoulder, his elbow, his knees, his toes, his head, doesn't matter. Something comes up. And at some point, presidents and GMs say, Ganug, we can't rely on this player. But the reason why the Mets haven't done that with deGrom is the better the player, the longer it takes for someone to say, it's not going to work out. We can't count on you. Jacob deGrom is 34 years old, and his talent so far outweighs any injury history, because even if you get him to start 10 games, you feel like you're going to win those 10 games. So that's better than any 5th starter would be, or any 12th starter. So you just pitch him till his arm falls off, or his elbow, or his knees, or his toes. But what about the money side? This is where being Steve Cohen and the Mets gives everyone such an advantage, which is why Mets fans should not feel cursed. They should feel nothing other than fortunate. Because there aren't many teams and there aren't many owners who would continue to invest in a pitcher where you're getting, what's his rate, Coca? What do you think? I'm going to say he's getting paid this year 26. Is that possible? There's a website I'm sure you can go to. Whatever his money is, and he can opt out at the end of this year. 36. Holy crikey, I was off by 10. $36 million if you start 33 games. It's over $1 million to start. I don't want to get into the math because I have about the number of fans that have to be in your stadium, the number of incremental fans that have to make it worth it to give a pitcher $1 million for a start. The math doesn't work. The money you can get paid back is if you make the playoffs, World Series, etc. The Mets certainly have increased excitement around them. They're announcing, like every other team, that they've got increased season ticket holders. They've got increased awareness. They love where they stand from a revenue standpoint. Jacob deGrom, before the season started, already said he was opting out of his contract. He's due to make $30 million next year, and he's already telling you he's going to opt out, which is absolute horse hockey. Of course he's not going to opt out if he has another injury-plagued season. If he misses the first month of the season, you think he's still opting out? Come on. That was rhetorical. What's the answer? This is when, again, I wish we had a studio audience, Coca. Or like we could call on people, like in a classroom. Yes. What's your answer? Yes, hanger on the couch that used to have this shirt that I'm wearing. What's the answer? If he gets a bigger offer from another team for more than the $30 million. Bingo. Is there another team who will take Jacob deGrom and say, no, he's not going to be hurt next year? Finally, it'll be the time when he's healthy, even though he's going to be turning 35 next season. So my advice to you, Mets fans, is this. An extension for Jacob deGrom is 100% not worth it because at 35 years old, there are very, very few pitchers who are successful after age 35, and those pitchers are only ones who really have no major significant injury past. Jacob deGrom is not getting any younger, and he's not getting any less injury prone. So you have to be willing to let him go. If you really want to win a World Series, and after this season when the Mets don't win, it'll be down to 1 to 3 years. It started at 3 to 5. Now it's 2 to 4. It's going to become 1 to 3. His comments about opting out, they're meaningless. Thanks for the question. By the way, it could be nothing. They could get the MRI and say it's clean. They're going to tell you that anyway. Totally clean. We're just going to rest him. We're going to have him miss a start, but then he'll start again the next day. But it's not going to change the narrative about Jacob deGrom. He is injury prone, and that doesn't go away.